The grand ballroom shimmered under the weight of 1,000 crystal lights, a sea of tuxedos and designer gowns murmuring with the soft clinking of champagne flutes. This was the annual Zenith Gala, the pinnacle of the city's social calendar, where fortunes were flaunted and futures were forged. Amidst this opulent display, Maya Caldwell stood, a quiet island of calm in a bustling ocean of privilege. Her dress, a simple yet elegant black sheath, didn't scream for attention like the jewel-encrusted creations surrounding her. It whispered of a confidence that needed no external validation. She was observing a painting on the wall, a modern abstract piece, when a sharp, condescending voice cut through her thoughts. "Excuse me, but I think you're in the wrong place. The staff entrance is around the back." Maya turned slowly. A woman, dripping in diamonds and clutching the arm of a man with a smug expression, was looking her up and down, her nose wrinkled in distaste. This was Beatrice Van Doren, a socialite whose family name was as old as the city's foundations. And her husband, Arthur? Before Maya could respond, Arthur chimed in, his voice oozing with faux concern. "Beatrice is right. This is a private ticketed event. Perhaps you got lost?" He gestured vaguely with his champagne flute, a dismissive flick of the wrist that was more insulting than his words. Maya simply held their gaze, a serene, unreadable expression on her face. Her silence seemed to unnerve them. It was a response they hadn't anticipated. They expected sputtering, excuses, perhaps even tears. They did not expect this quiet, immovable dignity. Their little confrontation had started to draw a small crowd. The whispers began, snaking through the elite guests. Who is she? Does she even belong here? The judgment was palpable, a thick, suffocating cloud of prejudice. The commotion caught the attention of the event chairman, a portly man named Mr. Abernathy, who bustled over, his face already flushed with irritation. "What seems to be the problem here?" He boomed, not even looking at Maya, but directing his question to the Van Dorens. "This person," Beatrice said, gesturing toward Maya as if she were a piece of misplaced furniture, "has clearly snuck in. She has no invitation. We were just suggesting she leave before security has to be called." Mr. Abernathy finally turned his full, disdainful attention to Maya. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to show me your invitation. If you cannot, I will have you escorted from the premises immediately. We have a certain standard to maintain at the Zenith Gala." Maya's gaze didn't waver. She looked from Abernathy to Beatrice, then to Arthur, a silent witness to their shared bigotry. The air grew tense. The onlookers leaned in, hungry for the drama. They expected a scene, a tearful exit. What they got was the quiet before a storm. Still, Maya said nothing. She simply reached into her small, understated clutch. For a moment, they thought she was fumbling for a non-existent ticket. Instead, her fingers emerged holding a sleek black smartphone. With a few calm, deliberate taps on the screen, she held the phone to her ear. The room was so quiet you could hear the fizz of champagne bubbles. Maya's voice, when it finally came, was clear and steady, cutting through the silence like a diamond. "Sarah, it's Maya. Yes, I'm at the gala. I need you to do something for me. First, freeze all accounts and contracts associated with the Van Doren Group, effective immediately. Second, do the same for Abernathy Construction. Yes, all of them. And finally, I need you to pull up the donation ledger for tonight's event. Project it onto the main screen behind the stage. Now please." A collective gasp rippled through the ballroom. Beatrice's face went pale, the color draining from beneath her expensive makeup. Arthur's smug grin had vanished, replaced by a slack-jawed expression of disbelief. Mr. Abernathy looked as if he'd been struck by lightning, his face turning from red to a ghostly white. A moment later, the grand screen behind the orchestra, which had been displaying a looping video of the charity's work, flickered. The video was replaced by a list of names and numbers. The list was long, but one entry at the very top in a bold, impossible-to-miss font silenced every last whisper. Caldwell Global Holdings. Donation, $20 million. The power dynamic in the room didn't just shift. It shattered and reformed in an instant. All eyes were now on Maya, but the looks were no longer of suspicion or disdain. They were of shock, awe, and a dawning, horrified realization. Maya lowered her phone, her calm expression finally breaking into a small, wry smile. She looked directly at Beatrice. "You might remember me, Mrs. Van Doren. We met 5 years ago when I pitched a sustainable housing project to your husband's firm." He told me, and I quote, that someone like me should stick to smaller, more manageable endeavors. He rejected the proposal. She then turned her gaze to Arthur. That unmanageable project became the foundation of Caldwell Global's real estate division. It's now valued at over $2 billion. Her eyes then landed on Mr. Abernathy, who looked like he might faint. And you, Mr. Abernathy. 3 years ago, I sought a construction contract for our new headquarters. You didn't even grant me a meeting. Your secretary informed me that you didn't work with startups without a proven track record. It seems you couldn't see the proof standing right in front of you. She paused, letting her words hang in the heavy air. You see, the problem is not my clothes, or the color of my skin, or the fact that I don't wear my wealth like a costume. The problem is your prejudice. You look at me and you see what you expect to see, a stereotype, an exception. Someone who doesn't belong. She took a step forward, her voice resonating with a newfound power that held the entire room captive. You question my eligibility to be here tonight. Let me make it perfectly clear. This gala, this entire event, is happening tonight because of a $20 million donation. My donation. I didn't sneak into your party, Mr. Abernathy, I bought it. A hushed awe fell over the crowd. Then one person began to clap. Then another, and another. Within seconds, the entire ballroom, save for the 3 frozen figures at the center, had erupted into a thunderous standing ovation. The applause wasn't just for her wealth. It was for her strength, her poise, her righteous and undeniable victory over ignorance. Maya raised a hand, and the room fell silent once more. Let this be a lesson to everyone, she said, her voice echoing with authority. Dignity is not for sale. Justice is not a negotiation. And talent, drive, and success are not limited by your narrow expectations. You looked at me and thought I was the exception. You were wrong. I am the result. The result of hard work, of perseverance, and of refusing to be defined by the small minds of others. She gave one last, piercing look at her now humbled accusers. My legal team will be in touch. Every word spoken here tonight has been recorded. Consider your status in this city and your business contracts permanently reviewed. With that, she turned her back on them, a queen leaving her court. She walked not to the exit, but toward the stage, taking her rightful place at the head of the event she had single-handedly funded. The orchestra began to play, and the gala continued, but everything had changed. The air was different, charged with a new understanding. Tonight, the Zenith Gala wasn't just about charity. It was about the reclamation of honor and the steep public price of prejudice. And at its center stood Maya Caldwell, not as a guest, but as a testament to the fact that true power is not inherited or worn. It is earned. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this story inspires you to stand tall in the face of judgment and to always recognize the worth in others and in yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new story. We'll see you in the next one.